Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm doing a how to apply to colleges in the USA video. So I will be attending university in the US myself in the fall of 2021. So by now I pretty much know everything about colleges that there is. So I decided, why not share what I know with you guys, because I know when I was at the beginning of this whole process, I had a lot of questions and I didn't have a lot of guidance and no one was really there to help me out. And you guys are probably international students who are seeking some help to apply to colleges in the US, and I thought this video would help you out. So basically I'm applying to colleges in the next month or so, and I've gathered a lot of information and I've just have my notebook here and I have written down everything that you need, everything you need to gather, because the applications require a couple of things that you need from the school. So starting off with the application, you either have to apply through the Common App website or the UC website. I'll also leave the links of these websites down below for you to go check out. First, I'm going to talk about all the things you need to put into that application, and then I'll talk about the website and everything. So yeah, let's get into the video. So starting off with the first thing you need for college applications in the US is your grades. So colleges in the US look at your 9th to 12th grade scores. So all the scores and grades you got from 9th to 12th grade are considered. In the US, these 4 years are high school. So 9th grade is freshman year, 10th grade is sophomore year, 11th grade is junior year, and then 12th grade is senior year. So they're really important. So they kind of just look at your grades in these 4 years. Usually schools have a GPA, which is out of a 4.0, a grade point average, but however your school is, just you need your scores from 9th to 12th to apply to college. If you're an international student, you probably don't know that you actually have to get the transcripts printed out on your own. So basically, you need your transcripts for all those 4 years. If you're an international student, and I know in India that 9th and 10th grade is usually in one school for some people, and then 11th and 12th is in a different school, because 10th you write your boards, and then 12th again a different school. So the people pick a stream in 11th or 12th. So I know it's different schools, but if you're planning on applying to colleges, then you will need a transcript document of all your scores in one page. What you need to do is you need to type up all your scores just like in your report card, and tables and everything, and your school's name and the principal's name and everything like that, and then all your scores in. So you have to give that to your school, and then tell them to print that out on the school's letterhead. You need to have the school's logo in the background, and then you need your principal to sign at the bottom for all of the sheets. So get some extra transcripts just in case you need them for more colleges. Just get them printed out and then get your principal to sign it at the bottom. That's the first major thing you need. So yeah, that's the first thing you need to do. Get your transcripts ready, because they're really, really important, because colleges are going to look at your 9th to 12th grade scores. So the second important thing you need is test scores. So you probably heard of the SATs. The SATs are basically an administration test for college. So in India we have MCET and stuff like that, right? So in the US they have the SAT, which is out of a 1600 perfect score, and it comprises of 2 sections, a math section and an English section. Math section should be pretty easy for most students, but the English section is what is a little bit tougher, because it has more complicated reading passages in English, which you'd have to practice a lot for. So I'd recommend taking coaching for this if you need it, and studying for it, practicing a lot. So yeah, that's a 3-hour test, and then you can take an optional essay, which is 50 minutes if your college requires it. But this year, because of COVID-19, things are changed up a little bit. Whether you're a US citizen or an international student, every single student needs to take this test every year. But because of COVID-19 this year, a lot of test centers were canceled. So for this year at least, they're making it test optional for some colleges. So you would have to check with what college you're applying to. Every year this test is mandatory. We don't know how things are going to be next year, so we're just going to have to wait and see, but that is usually mandatory every single year for freshman applicants. So another test you need to take is the IELTS or TOEFL for international students. This is only needed for international people. Basically, this test is just an English proficiency test. They just want to see that you know English because you're coming from another country. And I've heard that this test is like super easy. So if you're decent at English, this should be really easy for you. Just get a book and study a couple of weeks before, and I think you should be fine. So that's that. And I heard that it's MCQs. You can either take the IELTS or TOEFL, but that's also another test you need to take. So that's it for test scores. So the third thing we're going to talk about is personal statement essays or personal insight questions and things like that. So how college applications are is that there's a Common App portal, and then there's a UC portal. Basically, the Common App portal is what most students use, so we're going to talk about that. So basically, you send in, it's just like a website. You send in one application, and then you can send that application to how many ever colleges you want. Common App basically has a lot of universities from the US. There's like Boston University, there's Columbia, there's Yale, there's Stanford, there's Michigan State. There's so many other universities you could apply to with one application. And then there's the UC portal, which not a lot of people apply to, but if you want to attend one of the universities of California, then you'd have to send out your application through the UC portal, which is another website. You can just search it up on Google, University of California admissions, and you will get a little portal through which you again send out one application to like I think 9 or 10 different UC schools. These are University of California schools. The Common App is throughout the entire United States, but it does not have schools like UCLA, UC San Diego, UC Berkeley, and stuff like that. Is only through UC portals. Let's talk about the Common App part. So in the Common App part, we asked for some personal insight or personal statement questions. They're basically like essays. So I think you have like 4 prompts, which you have to choose one from. It's like a question, and then you'd have to answer that in like 600 or 650 words in the Common App. And that essay should be really, really good because your test scores and grades are only one thing because they just like are numbers, but the essay is what really is going to catch the admission person's attention, because you could talk about like your struggles with things, or you could talk about what you're good at, and the essay is what really makes you shine. So you really want to talk about something that is really important in your life and pick a question that is suitable to you. You have to answer that essay in 600 to 650 words. Send that essay to every single school. Some schools, even through the Common App, require like a separate supplement, which is usually like for the Ivy Leagues like Columbia, Harvard, and stuff. But if you're applying to just normal universities, you just need to submit that essay, and that should be it. If you're applying to UCs, however, there's like 8 different essay prompts, and you have to answer 4 out of them, but they're really tiny ones, like 200 to 250 word essays. So they're really, really tiny. And yeah, you just have to answer 4 out of 8. So that's your third part of the application. I would recommend working on these about 2 months prior to your application date, because they're really important. They show who you really are. And usually college applications, like the UCs, are due I think November 30th. And some applications from the Common App are due January, or like there's a lot of deadlines. You'd have to just check with your college. So yeah, but college applications already opened up for next year, this year itself. So another thing I want to point out is basically if you're in your 12th grade and it's the month of September or October, you have to start then, because college applications will be due within that year or like the starting of next year. Another thing is that a lot of people take their SATs between 9th to 12th, and you can take this test how many ever times you want until you get a good score, and you can choose to submit that score to colleges. You can take this during like 11th grade just to save some time. So make sure you have everything you need, because you're going to be stressed out if you don't have anything. So yeah, that's it for essays. Now the fourth thing you need is to gather all of your extracurriculars, your hobbies, your clubs, your awards, and your honors. So when you're in school, you go to either Model UN or debates or sport, whatever you do, like environmental club, anything you do, you could just put that in, all your achievements and all your clubs and extracurriculars, which is also really important because colleges want to see that you're a well-rounded person. You do a lot of stuff, you get good grades, you do good extracurriculars, you're just overall, you can handle a lot of stress, and you're a very challenging person. So yeah, make sure you gather all of that, because you're gonna have to like type it all in to your college application. Another thing that's also really important is like volunteering or community service. because colleges also want to see that you're a nice person. You can also do a couple of courses related to your major on like websites like Coursera and stuff. They just want to see that, you know, you're really motivated to get into this major, and you can do that if you have time, but extracurriculars are really important for your application. So yeah, that's the fourth part of the application. Fifth part of your application is your recommendation letters. Ask 1 or 2 teachers in your high school that you're like really on good terms with and you really like them and they think you're a good student too, to write you up a recommendation letter saying that, you know, so-and-so is a really good, hardworking person, gets her work done in time, a really motivated person, all that kind of good stuff that, you know, gives the admission person, you know, a different perspective of who you really are instead of just yourself. So I think 2 will be fine from 2 different teachers and you're good to go. So far we've talked about transcripts, we've talked about SAT and IELTS, and then we've talked about essays, and then we've talked about extracurriculars, clubs, volunteering, community service, and then we've talked about recommendation letters. So these 5 are really, really important parts of your application. Also, even the clubs you're in, like if you've played like the guitar for like 5 years straight, that's a really good thing to put on there because it shows dedication to something and commitment to something, and it shows that you've like really been, like you really stuck to that thing the whole time. So colleges want to also see that you're dedicated, you're committed. And also another thing I want to point out is that you can apply either early decision or regular decision. I just recommend applying to a regular decision unless you really, really want to get accepted early and, you know, stick to that college. I'd recommend applying regular decision. Another thing I want to tell you guys is to not apply for financial aid first year. You can apply second year financial aid. Is basically like student loan and money. I'd recommend not applying for the first year just because colleges want money. You just get accepted and then you can apply from the next semester or the next year. So that's a little tip right there. So yeah, that's it, you guys. I really hope this video helped you. If it did, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and also click the bell icon right next to it so you get notified every time I post a new video. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.